A warm welcome to everyone. My name is Tanisha. So it's a pleasure to have with me our author, Tapera Chivhaka, the author of the book Righteousness Through Marriage, Marriage in the Context of the Great Controversy. Thanks for joining us today. And to begin with, I would like to extend my hearty congratulations to you, sir. And I, along with my entire team of Exceller Books, we are very happy to have worked on this project. And now I will start the discussion by saying a few words regarding you, our author, and his book. Tapera Chivhaka is the visionary behind Hope in the Wilderness International, a platform on YouTube dedicated to combating social issues rooted in unstable family structures. His latest book, Righteousness Through Marriage, delves into the intricate battle waged against the institution of marriage as intended by divine design. The book sheds light on the urgent need for righteousness within marriage. So, sir, I would like you to say a few words regarding your book before digging into the discussion.
Thank you for the excellent work you are doing. Thank you also for having me and for this opportunity. I would like to say that the book mainly focuses, especially from the lens or from the perspective of the Bible. Why? Because I believe after probably through my little knowledge I have, after scanning throughout many things that are read on this world, I've seen the Bible giving a closer perspective to where the family begins. And if we can go with that narrative, it means in the same Bible, if we agree, we must be a manual for how we should run our families. But then I have also looked at the chaos and the issues and the fights, the abuses, the social degradation that are in the families. And I zoomed into it and I said, I think it is because in general, people have decided to disregard the manual which actually gives us the map on how to run these families. And the consequences are dire. Once you neglect the manual of someone who designed a project, and for it to last long, we must refer to that person. That's why then I had to bring out this concept of righteousness through marriage.
Great, sir. So, I would like to ask you, could you elaborate on the concept of righteousness within marriage, as you have discussed in your book, and how you believe it can address the social conflict or the social issues that we are facing nowadays?
Thank you so much for that question. Remember, we are looking at the issue of two people that come together. The reason why God has designed that two people come together to form a family, that is a husband and a wife, to have children, is because these two people, when they are brought in an institution called marriage, they are there in order to edify each other, in order to help each other to grow in all the dimensions that a human being must grow, not only physically, but emotionally, not only emotionally, but mentally. So as these people grow and help each other and complement each other to grow, they will grow and they become alike each other each day as they progress in their marriage. As a result, when they do that, the offspring or the children they are going to give birth to are going to emulate the same thing. They are going to also to like to do the same thing, because we cannot avoid it, because we are giving children. The world is giving children. There's no way reproduction is stopped, but it must be done in its proper way, in its proper perspective, so that those offsprings, those children, are also going to be good citizens.
Right.
So as a result now, if then we neglect that factor and then we decide just to bring children anyhow, and we know that as it was designed, each child must be raised by two people. It doesn't matter how we view it. It doesn't matter when we look at it, we say, no, the father was narcissistic.
Yeah.
I could not raise him with the father. Any child must be raised by two people. That is what we must endure. If we don't do that, there are going to be psychological effects. there are going to be effects that will then project into the world. They may project as crime, they may project as drug abuse, they may project as them failing also to have stable families. They may project as people, just a child going to a school and start a mass shooting. They project in various ways. Hence, we have this chaos in the society. So if we are going to put our effort in really driving this point home to the two people that come together, that this is a very important institution because we are bringing a life on this planet. Unless you don't want to bring a life on the planet, then maybe you can decide to do otherwise. That is the reason why we are saying in a family unity called the family,
Right.
the great controversy, oh, everything that wants to destroy this planet will focus on that unit called the family. And then we have the chaos that we have. Therefore, any correction to some extent to that family unit will result also in good offspring or in good people populating this planet.
Right, right. Very true. And
Yeah.
absolutely, you're very true in your words, and it is a major issue in marriage if that doesn't go in a right way. In most of the cases, the offspring or the kids are suffered. So you're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
Yeah. So, in
That's
your
true.
experience with Hope in the Wilderness International, how have you seen unstable family structure impact the youth, and how do you believe promoting righteousness within marriage can mitigate this effect? So, as we were just discussing regarding what are the conflicts that might come in a marriage and that would affect the that would affect psychologically to a child. So, what's your take in that? How can you through this book can give a positive message to the youth.
Thank you very much. As I have already said, people
Mm,
also must be accustomed or acquainted to the concept of great
mm,
controversy. When we say great controversy, we are just
mm,
saying it's a
mm,
war between good and evil.
mm,
If you want to be more Christian, if you want to be more biblical based, we can say
mm,
it's a war between Christ and Satan. Therefore, that war, as it is fought in the spiritual battle, it will cascade down to physical battle that is in our families. And normally, when you want to destroy families, you don't need to use the nuclear bombs. You need to use all these things. You just go touch the family unit.
mm,
Once the family unit is disintegrated, you have disintegrated the society. You have disintegrated the community. You have disintegrated the world. So that's what we are referring to when we talk of the theme of the great controversy. So we are just saying all these things that are coming into our families, particularly if you look at the direction the world is taking, especially the Western world.
mm,
We are now maybe disenfranchising men. We are
mm,
now rejecting the concept of men being the head. We are promoting independence.
mm,
We are promoting singleness.
mm.
All those things are happening now in this world.
Right.
As a result, when those things happen,
Mm,
we are promoting the sex industry and all those things. But in most countries that have those liberal ideas,
mm,
I want maybe probably people to look at the society that they are in.
mm,
If you look at countries that are still more conservative,
mm,
more family oriented,
mm.
you will discover that those families, they have less crime. Maybe they have less social ills that we are talking about.
Right.
Talk of countries that are
Mm,
going liberal, that are disregarding family, disenfranchising men, and also promoting what I can call uh, toxic femininity. Because I believe in women empowerment, I believe in all those things, but sometimes it is promoted in a very toxic way. So if you look at those countries that goes that direction,
mm,
they are also the same countries that push
mm,
rights, the LGBTQI. They are the very countries that pushes, that enforces that these things must happen. You must accept it. Let it be normal. Let it be accepted. So then you begin to see that this is a war that is waged in a family unit. Because in the beginning, it was not like that. It was not like we choose to do any family anyhow. I can also choose to have a family with another man. I can also choose to have a family with another woman. Then when you decide to do that, where do you get that child? I'm going to adopt. You are going to adopt whose child? A child from a heterosexual family. You see? So what do you teach that child?
Right.
Trans, I must chop my genital, replace them. All those things from the perspective, I want readers to understand,
Right.
from the perspective of the Bible. That's why I quoted a lot of scriptures there to those who are interested in that. From the perspective of the scripture, this is a war which is waged in a family unit. And as I was working with Hope in the Wilderness, going in youth conferences, the couple sessions, you see that people really like this kind of a message because they really see where the world is going.
Right.
Because especially in poor countries, children are in drugs and in the like. Even in rich countries, the Western I was talking about, you might see as if people are okay, they are living okay, but there's a lot of mental health issues, children rebelling at a very age, children in drugs at a very early age, all those things are happening. Therefore, really the message is very straightforward and simple. We go back to the manual, we get things right.
Right.
We give children love from both sides. It's not only even singleness or what, even when you are as a husband and wife together, but the marriage is abusive. Children are not going to be balanced.
Absolutely.
There's abuse in families. So it will be the same as even someone raising a child without a father. It might be that the father is not there or was a rubbish, but psychologically, there is something that will come that will say, but I was not raised by my father, and I really need to find out how a father reacts. So those things are projected in our world. As a result, we are saying, yes, it's not a normal world. Things cannot be as balanced as we want, but we ought to try, if we decide to be husband and wife, to live in normal lives, even though challenges are there. It will go a long way in curing these social ills we are talking about: the drugs, the shootings, the crime, the children. Children are getting in these transgender issues. If you really go into the details of it, some are rebelling against even their childhood.
Right.
They have got psychological problem. There are high suicide rates in people who are going to do these trans issues and all that stuff. So we cannot just be quiet because we are afraid, because the movers and shakers of this world are pro that agenda. They are pushing that agenda. But we cannot be quiet when we see that the world is being pushed in a wrong direction. And that's when that's prompted us to write such books and to try and really also have a word on how the family should move from henceforth. Yes, thank you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And you are very true. We have also seen this mainly in the Western countries and also in various research papers and articles that it is always stating that people who are in the journey of transferring their genders, or people who are basically lesbian or gay, their mental state are really unstable, and they are
Yes,
very confused regarding their gender. It's
yes.
been stated in various statistics that we can find. But I would like to ask you, what is your take on this? You have mentioned that it was written in the Bible, but apart from Bible, if we for a minute keep Bible out of our discussion, so what is your suggestion regarding this? Do you believe in a family where both wife and both husband can nurture or can rear a child in the family.
No, it's not only the Bible. Even if you look
Mm,
at our traditions, look at
mm,
cultures such as,
mm.
even look if you look at the Muslims,
Yeah.
the Islam world,
Mm,
we don't differ. The Islam world and the Christian world, we really rely on part of the book called the Old Testament.
yes,
And the
older.
Old Testament is the one which is full of instructive on how these
Mm,
families should be run and all these things,
mm,
our diets and everything.
mm.
So it's not only even people who had no Bible in the
Yes,
beginning, because
yes.
in some areas the Bible came at a very certain time. That's
Mm,
why you see that this thing is divine, this thing is godly. Before
mm,
even the Bible came, people
mm,
knew that how a husband should treat a wife, how a wife should relate to a husband, how children must relate to their parents before even the Bible came.
yes.
Actually, there was more social cohesion and
Right.
there was more tranquility
Mm,
even before the introduction of the Bible in some of the countries that I'm talking about. The
mm,
Bible then had to come to really shed more light on
mm,
these things. Even if you look at religions such as Hindu, religions such as maybe uh, all Eastern religions and Eastern spirituality,
mm,
they also really it's a thing that is common in a human being. It's a humanity issue.
mm,
Even by our own creation, by
mm,
our own design, we
mm,
can really see that a man is a man, a woman is a woman. That's why we are saying all these diversions, all these perversions,
mm,
they are a result of mental issues. They are a result of children reacting to their psychological trauma,
mm,
especially that they suffered when they were still children. So the advent of technology, the advent of the Bible, the advent of these other lights, rather the Bible must not must shed more light
mm,
in some of the things that we did not understand in before. But it seems as if it has come to actually displace or to destroy or to disrupt. But if you really look at it, it's not what it teaches. If a reader would want to follow the
mm.
verses that I was quoting from each section, it was sort of monotonous, but I said, let me try
Yes.
to put them. It is not what actually it teaches, but the powers that be, the narrative that is being pushed by
Mm,
media, the narrative that is being pushed by those that controls the world. You see, and
yes.
then probably then they distort that
Mm,
Bible message, and it comes with preachers. It comes with this one. Let's accept gays. It's an issue of rights. No one was
mm,
born like that. Even
mm,
in pulpits. Therefore, you find that we must then really dig deep and look into these things and discover that really it's not it's not what the Bible teaches. So we have common threads, all religions.
mm,
The, if you look at all spiritual books, be it the Quran, be it the Bible, be it also what Hindus use, be it what these other people use,
mm,
at the common base, they define respect in family. They don't condone abuse.
mm.
They don't condone disrespect from children. So at the core is the same. We are all human. But the narrative that is being pushed by television, especially from the West, and by other
Mm,
classes of our society,
mm.
are those that are distorting the family. But we are reaping the rewards. We can see where the world is going
Right,
with
right.
this.
Very true. So on all the religions, we can see that how, and you will find that if you read all the religions, the aim or the motive of all the religions are same basically. So from that perspective, you're absolutely right. So I just want to ask you that your book touches on religious, philosophical, and political dimension of marriage, and how do this aspect intertwine, and what implication do they have on shaping the future of humanity or shaping the future of marriage institution?
Thank you so much for that great question. That is what we were just discussing
Yes,
now. That
yes,
you know
yes.
what happens is everybody would want to put something in people's heads, be it
Mm-hmm.
television, be it newspaper, be it internet. You see things, if you just watch your internet now, your YouTube or your other things,
Mm-hmm.
I think 70% of the content that is being absorbed by young people on internet is pornography.
Right.
So you look at those things
Mm-hmm.
and you say, so all this, be it religious, like I was telling you that these issues have even infiltrated into the church on pulpits. They promote transgenderism on
Mm-hmm.
pulpits. They promote LGBTQI as issues of rights. They promote all those things. So what they want to do is to shape our minds so that when they shape the global mind, we are channeled towards a certain perspective of an individual. Because if families remain stable, husbands remain at their positions, and they take their positions, women, as is envisaged by any tradition, as I was saying, or any spiritual book, they become supporters, they become managers of these men.
Right.
The world is not easy to control to where you want, but it destroys the family, destroys the structure, disenfranchise men, feminize all the boys, then we can tell them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
That is where the world is going. So this philosophy, this philosophical issue, political, religious, it seems they are converging at a certain point of destroying the family. Therefore, we must have an alternative voice. We cannot keep quiet.
Right.
Develop our own philosophical views, develop our own political structures, develop our own psychological base, which then channel the family structure to the desired or to the envisaged or to the divine plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a way, we all believe that this is a divine plan. That's why in the beginning of my introduction, I was talking of God being at the center of it.
Yes.
Because there's another narrative which is pushed of
Mm-hmm.
evolution, which if you take the two, if then I evolved from anywhere and then lucky enough I then evolved to be a man and then this one developed to be a woman, but we just discovered each other by chance. It was Big Bang, it was that. You see, it then opens the way to no accountability.
Mm-hmm.
But if we channel that there's a God who has designed this. So when you decide to get into such an institution, there is accountability to this God. There is accountability if you are going to bring children on earth. There is this, so you should treat them this way, treat your wife this way for the children to be happy. You know, there's a statement which says the greatest way of actually uh, loving your children is to love their mother.
Right.
Once they see the family like that, then even themselves, we are not saying there could be no one or two issues, but they are going to be drastically reduced. We know for sure from statistics and everything that the issues that we have are emanating from children that have not been loved, or that have suffered childhood abuse, or that have suffered childhood traumas as a result of marriages that are not on stable ground, that are being inspired by this world.
Right.
And that, yeah, so that's the whole issue. So it's about channeling the mindset of people towards a certain direction. And if we are going to keep quiet, the narrative pushed by the powers that be, they will overwhelm everybody.
Right, right. Very true. So we are almost at the end of our discussion today, and I would like to thank you for your elaborative description or such a great discussion today on the Institute of Marriage and how a couple or how a married couple they can maintain their relationship because ultimately this will affect their children. So, thank you for such a great title to our audience, to our viewers. And this is for our viewers that his book is already published and distributed across all the global platforms like Amazon Kindle, Amazon.com, Kobo, and Google Play. And all the links will be provided in the description box itself. So, if any one of you are willing to purchase a copy of his book, you can easily click on the below mentioned link and you can purchase from there. And the additional details regarding his book we will be uploading on the description box. So thank you so much, Mr. Chivhaka, for your time today. And I think that this was a great discussing with you actually. And I would like to know your experience in publishing your book with us.
It was great. Thank you so much also for the time and for the opportunity.
Yes,
The publishing was great, no hassles. I just waited for the time that you promised that the book would be out, and everything went smooth and it's out now, it's there. I just hope we'll vigorously market and promote it together.
yes, yes,
For the love that I would like to see the family coming together and do the right thing and probably come to a point where I'll have bigger platforms in order to influence masses. Because if you don't have a platform, you have ideas, but you won't be able to influence. So thank you so much for giving me the platform and for the great work of publishing the book.
thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words.